Hey everybody, long time no see. So today I'm going to do a quick eye demo for you using some new eyeshadows that I have recently purchased. They are from an indie brand called Feather River Body, and actually my friend Beth discovered Heather, who owns the shop, on Etsy, and ordered some of her eyeshadows and was completely blown away by the quality. And so of course I had to order some for myself. Beth and I actually just recently hosted a giveaway on our Instagram featuring Feather River Body and another brand, and Beth and I are both just very impressed with the quality and performance of these eyeshadows. So I really wanted to come on and make a video and just sort of rave about this brand. The eyeshadows, in my opinion, are top quality. They are just as good, if not better, than some of the prestige brands out there that I have tried. The consistency of her eyeshadows they're just smooth, buttery, super pigmented. A little goes a long way, as you guys will see in the video. But what I wanted to know, she has a nice range of eyeshadows. She has matte finishes, satins, and she has pressed pigments. And she also has loose eyeshadows that come in little jars. And like I said, she sells candles, candles and nail polish. She also sells highlighters, foundation. Something is happening with my voice. I don't know what's going on. I was feeling fine. Maybe I'm getting sick, who knows. But I'm gonna show you some of the things that I have purchased recently. And I'm throwing brushes on the floor. So I have 3 loose eyeshadows here, and then I have 8 pan shadows. So this one here is a pressed pigment. The pressed pigments go, well actually all of the pan shadows go for $6 a piece. The loose go for $5. Now what I really wanted to talk about, because I feel like with matte finish eyeshadows it can be tricky. Sometimes matte finishes can be sort of skippy on your skin. You go to put them on and you know, the color sort of skips, or it's not smooth, it's inconsistent. Sometimes matte shadows, they're not as sort of like pigmented, or the blendability just isn't there, and sometimes you have difficulty building the colors up. I've encountered that a lot with different brands of matte eyeshadows. So what I wanted to do was sort of show you guys, I'm going to do some swatches. Now lately I have been swatching only using a brush, because I feel like most of us do apply our eyeshadows with brushes as opposed to our fingers, so it just made sense to me to swatch the eyeshadows using a brush. But for the video and the sake of my lighting and whatnot, even though I have my light back, I'm still sort of playing around with situating my light and trying to get rid of shadows. Like I have a lot of shadows and whatnot. So, but I'm just gonna swatch these on my hands. Now, keep in mind, I have no primer on my hands. My hands are clean, but they're also very super dry. I've got alligator skin going on right now, so just kind of keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and swatch some of the matte finish eyeshadows. So I'm going to go ahead and use this Melt eyeshadow. The stacks sit right next to me on my desk, so we'll use the consistency from the Melt eyeshadow to compare to Feather River Body. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and swatch Enigma. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, so there's Enigma on my dry skin. Then I'm going to go ahead and swatch Sunset. So 1, 2, 3. Look at the difference. So I love Melt, don't get me wrong, but Melt is $17. That is $6. Can you see the consistency and how smooth it goes on? It's not skippy at all. So the quality of her matte eyeshadows probably impressed me the most out of anything, because in my opinion mattes are hard to get right. Like shimmers, whatever, pressed pigments, whatever, but mattes, if you can master creating a smooth, creamy, blendable matte eyeshadow, then you've done an amazing job in my opinion. Like I said, I love Melt, don't have a problem with it, but you saw the difference there between the two. Also, I wanted to say too was that if you don't want to spend $17 on Melt, on Enigma, because now they sell them separately, these eyeshadows, the loose ones, I have Solomon and Caramel Apple. They're actually pretty close dupes. I think Caramel Apple is probably the closest. I just swatched Caramel Apple on my hand because I wanted to see how close it is to Enigma. It's actually pretty close. There's Caramel Apple and there's Enigma. Let me sort of blend this out a little bit to show you. So maybe this one's a little more on the red side than Enigma, but I think it's pretty close. That one is Caramel Apple. I absolutely adore that color. A lot of people don't like loose eyeshadows. I happen to really enjoy using them. I like loose eyeshadows. And then this one is called Solomon. This one's a little more, I think, like red or orangey red. And I'll swatch that one for you too. Oops, I got a little too much on there. There, it's blended out. That one is Solomon. I put way too much on. But look at how nicely it even blends out on totally dry, nasty alligator skin. Look at that. It's very good quality pigmentation. I've actually just recently put in another order that I should be getting soon. Her pressed pigments, awesome. You'll see in the video, I actually applied the pressed pigment with my finger. I guess since I'm swatching, I'll swatch this one. Let's do this one. 1, 2, 3. There. Look at that. Unbelievable. Like, her stuff is really just so nice. That one's called Last Hearth. I love that color. I actually just ordered another pressed pigment. I can't remember the name of it, but anyway, her stuff is awesome. I really think that you guys should go give her a look. She does have a coupon code for 25% off for first-time buyers. So I definitely encourage all of you to go ahead and check out her Etsy shop. Take a look at some of the things that she has. Maybe purchase a few eyeshadows just to try them out for yourself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and demo the eyeshadows. I am using Last Hearth, Sunset, Summer Magic, and all three of these. This one, oh, I forgot to show you this. I can't believe I forgot. This one's called Pumpkin Latte. It is a sparkle finish. Solomon and Caramel Apple were both matte. This one is so pretty. I don't know if you can see it, but I actually used it as a highlight up here. The reason that I think this works out perfect for a highlight on the top of the cheekbone is because for most of us, well, for some of us who don't like walking around looking like a disco ball, this is the perfect amount of sheen without being over the top, you know? And like I've always said, I feel like the older you get, the least amount of attention you want to draw to your wrinkles. But for those of us that still want to add a little something something to the top of our cheeks, this is perfect because, like I said, it's not anything over the top. I really do like the color of this a lot. It's a little more on the peachy side. And now I'm going to swatch this one for you guys as well. Whoops, too much. I'm running out of room here. Let's see. Swatch it right here. Now this one is a little bit lighter, you know, because it's more of a highlight. Look at how beautiful. I just added a little bit more because I feel like maybe it's not showing up. There we go. This is such a beautiful color. This is great for a highlight, for inner corner highlight. This would be great for all over the lid. You know what I mean? Like if you wanted to do something light to dark. Absolutely beautiful. When I saw this color, I was like, yeah, that's mine. If you guys do decide to go ahead and purchase some of Heather's eyeshadows, let me know. You know, leave it in the comments. Let me know on Instagram. Because I really am curious to see what other people think. I want to know if you end up loving her stuff as much as Beth and I have. So, all right, you guys, enough with the talking, on with the demo. Okay, the first color I'm using is Summer Magic, and I'm going to apply that to my crease. And I'm using a MAC 217 brush for this. The next color I'm using is Sunset. This is going to go into the crease as well. All right, the next color I'm using is Caramel Apple, and this is a loose eyeshadow. Typically what I do is I just tap the bottom so that some of the product falls onto the lid, and then I will just go ahead and dip my brush into that. I find that with her eyeshadows, because there's so much pigmentation, if I dip my brush directly into the powder, I end up picking up way too much. So I want to start lightly with this because, again, the pigmentation is definitely on point. So a little goes a long way, is what I'm trying to say. So this is going to go into my outer crease and probably about halfway through my crease as well. God, when I first started, before I even started filming, I was freezing. Now I'm getting too warm. The next color I'm using is Solomon, and this is also a loose eyeshadow. And again, you just want to tap the bottom so some of it falls into the top of the lid. And this one I'm just mainly keeping out here and onto the lid. I would love to know what she uses for her eyeshadow. I just, even when it gets on my desk and I wipe it, it doesn't stain, but it's almost like a stain. And when I used this eyeshadows the first time that I did this look, I really had to like soak my eyes with makeup remover to get the eyeshadow off. Her stuff is just unbelievably pigmented, and the lasting power is impressive, to say the least. All right, so I'm going to take a little bit more of Sunset on my 217 brush to just sort of go in here and blend out these edges. Okay, and then I just also want to point out how minimal the fall down on my cheek is, on the top of my cheekbone. It's very minimal compared to a lot of loose eyeshadows and even pan eyeshadows from other brands. Okay, the next one I'm going to use is Last Hearth, and this one I'm going to actually use my finger to apply. And this is going to go right on the lid. And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of feathering this eyeshadow towards the outer corner. I don't want it to get too much into the matte colors out here, because as most of you know, once you get any kind of shimmer into a matte, you lose that matte look. So you got to be very careful when you're mixing mattes and shimmers. Okay, what I decided to do was, you guys have seen the pressed pigment go on with my finger, and what I'm going to do now is use a brush. I'm going to go into some of Last Hearth, and I'm going to apply some of this wet just to sort of like the center of my lid, just to add like a little extra shine. I'm going to go ahead and wet that and sort of just apply it to the center of my lid. So I'm going to go ahead and do my lower lash line now, and I'm basically just going to sort of follow the same color pattern that I have on top. Okay, so I am done with my look. Here's the eyeballs. This was supposed to, like I said, just be a quick eye demo. I really hope that you guys like this. I'm actually going to get up and go over by the window so that you guys can see what this looks like in natural light. Because I feel like everything looks better in natural light. So give me 2 seconds and we'll go over by the window. Okay, so here we are in natural light, and I'm just standing in front of my window. So I think that it's really pretty. And I feel like over here it looks a little more like those sort of rusty orange tones. It doesn't look as red. The Solomon and Caramel Apple, they're more on the red side, but or like burgundy, but I adore those colors, so of course I gravitated towards those. But I really think this is pretty. I think it's so summer appropriate. I know a lot of people would associate these types of colors with fall. I don't know why. I think it's like kind of like a sunset. I don't know. But anyway, I think it's really pretty. I've actually been wearing these colors a lot lately, as most of you, well, not most of you, but for those of you that are friends with me on Instagram, you guys know that I've just been like sort of repeating this look using different brands because I feel like I can't get enough of it. So, but I don't know, you guys have to let me know what you think. But anyway, this has been my favorite sort of color combination look for the summer. So it'll be interesting to see what happens when fall comes. I'll probably do like a darker version of this, who knows.